Holy Mount Zion, Holy Mount Zion, Holy, 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 holy Mount Zion, holy, holy Mount Zion, holy Mount Zion, holy, 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 holy Mount Zion. A pleasant good morning. Welcome to HEDM Morning Devotion, and today's topic is While Living Life to the Fullest. And the lesson reading will be coming from Colossians chapter 4, verses 5 to 6. And it reads from the King James Version. Walk in wisdom towards them that are without, redeeming the time. Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man. And I'm going to read it from the Message version also. Use your head as you live and work among outsiders. Don't miss a trick. Make the most out of every opportunity. Be gracious in speech. The goal is to bring out the best in others in conversation, not put them down, not cut them cut them out. So as we all know, Paul wrote this chapter, which is a letter that he wrote. This letter is to the believers. He actually told, like in the end of the chapter, it talked about how he was basically telling them, like as he writing this letter, he's like basically saying, hey, show this letter to this person, show this letter to that person. Like he's passing the letter around so the believers could read and understand the things that he's saying. And he said a lot. But we're going to focus in on verse 5 to 6, where it mainly talked about the believers and what we should do as believers. So now while we're living our life to the fullest and we're believers and we're aiming to walk into the right direction that God has for us, I believe that these particular things that Paul stated is something that we need to keep in mind as we continue our journey as believers. So while we're living our life to the fullest, we now have to make wise and good decisions. So that's what Paul is basically talking about. And wisdom, by definition, means the quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment, right? So to be wise, we have to learn from our experiences, and we sometimes learn from other people's experiences. This is how we gain our knowledge so that we're able to sift out what should be done and what shouldn't be done, how we should act, how we should not act, right? And it goes on to say that we have to make the most out of every opportunity. So now as believers, as we go around our merry business and doing our merry old things and living our regular old lives, there's going to be times where opportunity arise where we have to show our self-approval and show which side are we on, and if we are on God's side. In the Message version, it says, don't miss a trick. So meaning that sometimes there's tricks out there where non-believers, this is the outsiders that it was referring to, they might ask a question or do things to make you slip up. So it's important as believers that we be strong and stand firm in what we believe in. Because we're in this world filled with non-believers, filled with worldly people, and there's times it's hard to keep pressing forth and stay on the right track, because we end up faltering by the way because we fall into the trap, you know. So Paul goes on in verse 6 and said that he talked about, let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man. So gracious by definition means acting with kindness, courtesy, and compassion, showing consideration and politeness in one's reaction and behavior. So we just got to be, as believers, Paul is saying that we have to be good and kind and compassionate. We got to be nice. We can't be angry. We can't be aggressive. We can't go Even in our conversations, we can be rude and disrespectful and cutting people off and being nasty and obnoxious. We can like even though we're passionate about God, we can be like, you people and blah blah blah. We just can't be like, he's cautioning us not to be like that. We have to be kind. So we have to know and understand what are we saying in order to like bring forth a message. It also went on to say, and season with salt. So as we all know in the Bible, it says that we are, like the Bible is talking about, that we need to be the salt of this world, right? Which means that we must be able to change things. So there must be a balance, okay? We can't have too much salt. So when you're cooking, it says season for a reason. It says season with salt. And it said season with salt, meaning that when you season a pot of food, you cannot put too much seasoning. You can't put, salt. You cannot put too much salt, because then the food will be too salty and it won't be good to eat. And you can't put too little seasoning, because it won't have no taste. It won't have no substance. So if you change this into word forms, if you, whatever conversation you're trying to have to non-believers or even believers, if you're doing too much or you're saying too much, the message might not get across. And if you're doing too little and you're saying too little, then the message still won't get across. They need a little bit more, right? So be the salt of this world. When you are not doing these things, you're not being gracious, and you're not being a salt, and you're not being good, and you're not being courteous, and you're not being compassionate, we run into problems. So one of the problems is that in our conversation, people is not hearing us. If you're going on a rant on Facebook and just going off on a tangent, even though you're saying good things and you're passionate and you want people to do better, people is not warring with you, because they're not hearing your message at all. All they hear is war. I need to defend myself, and I want to do what I want to do. So it's just going to have some clashing. And two, the message that you're speaking is not getting across to them. So even though whatever message that you put or you saying, people's looking at the message and they just bypass it and like probably stick to one thing that you say. Maybe it's something angry that you say, and then just feed off of that. So it's important that we understand how the things we say, how we say it, and how we deliver it. So the goal is to bring out the best in others in conversation. That's what it said in the Message version. Not put them down and not cut them off. So our conversation must be courteous and decent. And if we don't know how to do that, we need to prepare ourselves as believers to learn how to do that. So what we need to do, study our Bibles, do some more research, learning how to talk, how not to talk, and learn from people's experiences, learn from your own experiences, trial and error, and figure out what works best for you. So now these outsiders, as in the ending of the chapter, it talked about these outsiders might have questions, they might have concerns, they might even question the things that you're saying. So one, you have to be prepared by reading the Bible, and two, we just have to learn to just answer respectfully and have a decent conversation back and forth, where they might peradventure understand what you're saying, and they might be able to fall into and believe the same things that you believe, because you came off or you talked in a particular manner or a particular liking. So while living our life to the fullest, be pleasant, choose your words carefully, and be ready to give answers. Okay, so I encourage you guys just to be different, be the salt of this earth, be gracious, be kind, be courteous in the things that we do and say, and be mindful of the things that we do and say, and just be great and be God-fearing people. And this is the few words I'll leave with you. I pray this time and hour that whoever's tuned into my devotion at this time, I pray that you guys understand the message that's coming across, that you actively try to apply this to your life. I pray that we all, as believers, we come together and do the right thing and build and be well and be good and just be kind and loving, have the fruits of the Spirit, and that we continue to just love and care for one another in all the name, but in Jesus' almighty name. Amen.